think is on as well. Awesome. So these individuals are two people that have really run with the whole concept. So I did an extended interview with Alex, but his story is so awesome. He got introduced to the idea 2018, 2019, somewhere in there, made his first list. Alex, what was like the first time that you went through the process? How many did you write down on your list?
I think it was around 250 dreams.
How many do you have now?
900.
Wow.
So there's not a record, but I think that's it. Right?
Yeah.
It's not meant to be a contest, but Alex, in this situation, we did it again. We do it annually, so we did it again this August. And Alex's list, he had 800 and some. I'm like, oh my God, that's incredible. So
Well done.
how he has so many though is he's a chronic stealer. He takes everybody else's nonstop. And he also is, he has a ton of different benchmark ones. Can you give some examples, Alex, of like how you've done, anything that's a benchmark one where you have different levels?
Yeah. This August, one of my dreams on there was figure out my path to financial freedom. So that was a dream on my list. And then another dream was buy a second property. And then another dream after that was buy a fifth property, 10th property. So after the dreams retreat, went home, sat down, I planned out my dreams for the year. Well, the financial freedom roadmap was the first one that made sense to cross off. So I did it, planned it all out. And then that got to be one of the dreams, but that got me one step closer to buying the second property, which I then did. So then it was another dream. So yeah, that's kind of, I feel like a great fresh example.
Yeah, Alex is like he's the perfect poster boy for like this whole thing. And Alex is 21. He bought his first home right before he was 20. He just bought a second property in 10 months. And one of the dreams, anybody with kids, this will touch their heart. One of your dreams with the financial thing, talk about how you bought the second property.
Yeah. So I'm from a small town. So I feel like the whole investing in real estate, that kind of thing, I didn't grow up seeing. I learned that from Dane and other people like in my circle. So I always felt like there's a little bit of disconnect with my parents as far as what I was doing and what I was up to and that kind of thing. So one of my dreams, since Dreams Retreat last year, was to buy a property with my parents. And that was a dream that I got to cross off when I bought the second property because I did it with them. So they're a part of it. My mom was down in the cities last night. We got to do some stuff at the house together, which was really cool.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here thinking, I have a son, he's turning 5 next month. And I'm thinking, wow, if I implement this with Clay now, where is he going to be when he's 21? Like, Alex, super impressed, man. Like, congratulations. It's amazing.
Thank you.
In the book, we talk about his treadmill marathon also, which that's going to go down as one of the coolest ones. Alex had on his dreams list. How many dreams, by the way, did you get done in 2020?
2020, I crossed off 32.
And how many do you have so far done this year?
38.
38. Wow. So he's on pace. I mean, he's going to have 100 dreams in the first 2 years of this kind of concept, right? So he, treadmill marathon, he had on his list during COVID at the beginning of the year of like, hey, I want to run a marathon. And COVID, everything's canceled. He kept waiting. And then finally he's like, well, I guess I'm just going to have to do this on my own. So he did it on the treadmill, hooked up a laptop with Zoom and from some prodding from me. And then everybody on the team was able to celebrate. His family was on there checking in. The end of it was so cool. You want to share anything from that experience?
Yeah. Well, I will say, Dane, it was Dane's idea to do the whole Zoom thing. And at first I kind of just laughed at him. I'm like, yeah, right. And he's like, no, you need to do the Zoom thing. Without the Zoom thing, I don't think I could have. I don't know if I would have been able to finish the last 3 miles. And for anyone who's run a marathon, like that's a tough wall to break through. But for the last 3 miles, I had 20 some people on a Zoom right in front of me cheering me on. And Colleen was on almost the whole time, holding up signs like it was a real marathon. Dane hopped on a bunch, and there were just a lot of people that showed up for it, which was really cool. And there are people who understood the dreams concept for sure and understood like how much that meant to me. But it was also like family members hopped on and other people in other circles. And yeah, that was really special for sure. And Dane created almost all of that except for the training.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was obviously really cool.
That was cool. Yeah, it was awesome to be a part of
Best
it.
story I've ever heard. Sorry, Dane.
Yeah, no, not at all. That was cool. And then we have Colleen here, also affectionately known as Coco in the Cutco world.
Hello.
But Colleen, when did you make your first streams list? Like when was that process for you?
I think it was 2018. I made my first dreams list.
And then how long until kind of like it, kind of like got roots with you, right? Like in other words, did it go right away? Was it?
Well, the concept I think got roots before I made my first dreams list, just because it's been such a important topic that we've talked about within Cutco. But I think I got introduced to the concept in 2017, end of 2017, and it really took over right away. I mean, the first biggest dream that I did was in 2018, maybe 6 months after I got introduced to the concept, and I took a big backpacking trip in Europe, and that was, I think, really the start of just how incredible the concept is and how much it could change for me.
And she went in head first on it too. So she was like, not only do I have a dream of going to Europe, right? But it was like, any idea if you had a ballpark how many dreams that you like did in those 3 months?
Oh my gosh, a lot. Probably 30 to 40. I would guess, maybe more, honestly.
Yeah. How many do you have on your list total?
Alex has got me beat. I think I've got about 850 or so.
Oh, wow.
855.
That's awesome. Until later tonight when you add some more on there.
Yeah. Alex, send me your list. I'm going to do a little dream stealing tonight.
It's on my dreams list to have 1,000 dreams on my dreams list. So
I love that.
I'm going to add that to mine now too. Yeah.
But this is what's cool with this too, is like, I don't even have that many on my dreams list. And the whole stealing process, though, I joke around about like sometimes how minor or small some of them are, which it could be something as simple as Alex had, like learn how to crack an egg with one hand. Right. So most people wouldn't call that a dream, but the whole concept of all of this is that there are things that we can be working towards. And I think most people would agree that when we're on purpose, we're off self. And so if that purpose is something as simple as, drinking a certain amount of water for 30 days straight, or learning how to crack an egg with one hand, or a big grandiose thing of saving for a big trip or for investment property. And so what I've seen for especially these two and many other people within our team is that they always have something, right? And when they hit this, it's like, oh, there's 4 other things right now that are in the calendar, in the works, and I'm working towards this. And so there's never a shortage of fire with that person of what's driving them on a regular basis.
Yeah, I think I'll add one other thing. I think for me, the biggest thing that I've gained from this is just like having, like you said, something to look forward to. My brain naturally now just works towards completion, right? So I'll have something, even if it's really small or really big, something like, take guitar lessons, right? Or, take a big backpacking trip. Like naturally, I go to completion now of, now that I've identified this thing, whether it's big or small, how do I make it happen? Whereas if I had not had that identification, that it's even on my list, I would never even think to be able to do it. So that's been huge.
Yeah, I would say on top of that too, just getting to wake up every day with so much purpose. And I say this all the time, but it's so funny when when I think of my job as a job, because that's not really what it is. It's just my vehicle to doing some really cool stuff. And I think Dane said it best the other day. He said, so he asked me, so it's kind of giving you the ability to gamify life. And I said, yes, that's exactly what it's allowed me to do. And just being able to wake up with tunnel vision every day of here's what I'm pursuing next, like here's what I'm going for next. And then with the dreams thing, actually crossing it off my dreams list, there's completion. Like I get to see and realize the end of the tunnel and then move to the next thing, which it just so much purpose waking up every single day. There's never a question of like, what am I going to do today? It's like I have things to do and dreams to chase.
Love it.
Dane, you must be like over the moon with fulfillment right now. Like just feeling like, oh my gosh, look at this impact. Just in these two lives, like their lives and your team. And then all of these people that are buying 3 copies to do your workshop. It's unbelievable.
It is awesome. And it feels great to have all this. I appreciate the words from everybody.
Hi.
My wife, Brooklyn. Most of you know Brooke.
Isn't Izzy?